Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Ghost and Molly McGee. This is an animated series from 2021. It is so far 2 seasons. I think it's still continuing, and each of the episodes are about 20-some minutes long each. Let me make sure. I only watched one of the episodes. Yeah, they're 25 minutes long each for like broadcast. That leaves enough room for a lot of quick commercials, I guess. But for Disney Plus, if you have the right level of membership, I guess, no commercials. So, and by the way, each episode contains 2 distinct stories that put this troubled relationship to the test. What we get here, obviously in the first one, we get an origin story. We get basically a start to this relationship, and it's about a ghost named Scratch. It is, yes, Molly gets it first billing. She seems to be the focus of it, but we start with Scratch. He is part of the ghostly realm of just spirits that do their best to make the world a miserable, scary, haunted place. And Scratch is pretty much does a pretty decent job of that for the town that he's in, called Brighton. But everybody's fairly miserable there, I guess. But he's not one of the cool ghosts. He's not great at his job, let's just say. Everybody kind of looks down on him. He's kind of a mess. But he gets a good review each time, but he still has a lot to prove. And well, he decides head back to his home because, hey, you know what? Something's happening. He doesn't realize it at first, but somebody's moving in, and guess what? It's Molly and her family. Molly, her mom and dad and brother, all have just traveled across the country, I guess, to a new location. I think because of Dad's job. To a new location, as they often do, without ever being there first. Like they just, we bought a house, we've never seen it or been to it, and I don't know. I guess that's how it works for some people. I don't know. In this case, Molly and Scratch meet pretty quickly in. There's not a whole lot of like build up or anything else. They get to meet each other pretty quickly, but Scratch discovers immediately that Molly doesn't care, and she is perpetually perky and upbeat and finds the good in everything, and the good and she immediately designates him as her new best friend, because you kind of get the impression it's not something that, maybe, I don't know if the kids will pick up on. Maybe they will, especially if they've ever been in Molly's situation where they have to find a new place to live every so many months or years due to mom and dad's jobs or whatever. Molly needs a friend. Molly is, despite some situation where she could probably get pretty down on herself, feeling pretty lonely, she goes out of her way to be friendly and embrace new people and new things, and do whatever she can to have a happy life. And you can see that there's a little underlying sadness in this, and it's kind of great that it's not, I don't think it's meant on the surface to be super nuanced like that, but you can tell in the interactions that they have that Molly goes overboard in order to get the minimum amount of affection beyond her family, but to find a friend, to have a friend as soon as possible. And I don't know if it'll bear itself out in future episodes, because while they seem pretty self-contained, but the stories themselves, but I have a feeling there's going to be an evolution in these characters between each other, and as her supporting cast grows. The first episode is obviously about what happens when they move into the house that Scratch haunts, which, again, it looks like a haunted house. It looks pretty destroyed, but, they're trying to make the best of it. And what happens in that first episode is Scratch pretty much ends up being the one who's haunted by this perky young girl. And she's not going to let him get away. She's going to haunt him for the rest of his unlife. He tries to find a way out of it. Yes, I'm spoiling the entire thing, but you should see it to understand, get context. He's trying to figure out how to get out of this cursed situation he's in, because she pretty much, while she didn't see it as such, she kind of put a curse on him that he would be forever tied to her as best friends, which is something he's never had before, something he's never experienced. He's pretty miserable, and he kind of likes it that way. So yeah, tries to find a way. He goes back to the Ghost Council and tries to find a way to break that bond, and of course he fails. Otherwise, this show would just be Molly McGee or just the Ghost. So yeah, and you get to see how he fits into her life and her home, and how it all works out for the most part. It sets the foundation for everything going forward. The second story is about her first day at school and worrying, and this compounds the insight you get when you realize just how gung-ho she is about having another living being around that she could call her own. Just to have a friend that will not go away. She's going to school, and she's a little bit afraid that she's not going to make any friends. And she realizes she can come off a little aggressive at times. And she doesn't want to make a fool of herself because she can be pretty dorky at times. That's okay. Dorky is good, in my opinion. Of course, Scratch finds an opportunity to make her life somewhat miserable. So she thinks they're friends. He doesn't want her around anymore. He's not mean about it necessarily, but he's pretty selfish, and he's going to do what he can to maybe make her not want to stick around anymore. Maybe her changing her mind, making her miserable, will be enough to make the entire family move away, and he can maintain his level of misery in that town. I have a feeling, and then by the way, there is a gauge that the mysterious evil one that oversees all the ghosts, there's a gauge that sort of keeps track of how miserable the town is. I have a feeling in time, with Molly's help, that gauge is going to start moving brighter and brighter. Maybe not. But of course, Scratch realizes that when she really does make a fool of herself, when she really does do something that could ruin her standing in the school up against a girl who kind of commands everybody to follow her lead, to do as she says, because she's pretty unpopular. Well, Andrea. Well, when Scratch sees his opportunity, he has a chance that she can stay miserable, but he realizes how he's treated in the ghost world and how he's been rejected a lot of times, and he actually comes to her defense. And it's just kind of neat to see him sort of breaking, sort of changing a little bit. He's not all bad, obviously. He's just in a situation where he's got to prove things to people he sees as his betters. But does he? So I have a feeling, this is going to, hopefully this will evolve, and the characters will get a little bit deeper. Not that they're not deep as it is. It's fun. It's friendly. I think it's good for kids of all ages. I'm pretty sure this has a really solid following, has a dedicated fan group of all ages. Little kids like it, and I think teenagers are loving it, and there might be a few adults who get a kick out of it as well. What you're going to find in this is a who's who of voice actors, not the least of which Molly is played by Ashley Birch, who is just, I don't know if I've seen Ashley Birch before, but she sounds so familiar. And now she looks familiar to me too, and when I see her picture. She's done Attack on Titan, video game voiceover stuff. Oh, please tell me. Oh, she's in Super Mario Brothers. She does additional voices. Wait a second. And then also, by the way, there's also a song, like in each half episode. There's a little song that she sings, and if this is who I think she is, she looks so familiar. Like, does she do non-video game stuff? I don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess. But the other voice I recognize is for her Scratch, Dana. I can't say his name. Dana Snyder. You'll recognize him as Master Shake. Yeah, Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's unmistakable. He's also done a ton of other voices everywhere else, but that's where I know him mostly from. So, yeah, if you get a chance, I say definitely check this out. Definitely, it's an absolute positive spin. You can put a positive light on your day. I think this is just it's just good fun. It's nothing too heavy. I don't think it gets too heavy. I know there's a lot, like a lot of things that are fun and silly, like Adventure Time, can get kind of intense at times. It has a lot of deeper stuff going on. This might have that. Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls definitely had this, fun, wacky, silly side, but it also had its sort of more intense, darker angle to it. And this totally could be that too. I don't know. The experts out there who are watching this go, of course, or no. I have no idea. I've only watched one episode so far. So, yeah, I say definitely check this out. It's worth the time. I almost did 2 episodes, but I was running short on time, and I was like, okay, I think I can talk about this for 11 minutes so far. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
11.
Low numbers. Come on. Okay. Got a documentary again. We got to think that at some point we're gonna blow through these documentaries. I get rid of all the sharks, but I don't know if this is an episode or a whole 45-hour-and-a-half thing. I have no idea, but we're gonna be watching Africa's Deadliest. Africa's Deadliest what? I don't know. It's probably National Geographic. If not, it might be one of those old school Disney things. We'll see. Africa's Deadliest is what we're watching next in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.